Right, I'm going to do my 10 odd minute walkthrough of what I have made for my Sinatra app. I'm going to share my screen. There it is. Right, so I have already booted up Shotgun for my app. What I've done is I've made a D&D Spellbook manager, so you can access a number of different characters. You can have your spellbooks for different ones. You can access the spells for those. It's basically just a resource to make it much quicker for a spellcasting class to actually access their spells, have a look at them and see what they do, because otherwise you can be flicking through an awful lot of pages and whatnot. So I've got a basic intro page. Thank you, Cornel, for giving most basic formats, which I have, as you can see, played with. The background was just free from Shutterstock, I seem to remember, straight from online. So first off, I shall show the sign up function, and this I'm going to make prettier. You know what? I'm going to make that prettier now very quickly. Doopy-doopy-doo, doopy-doopy-doo, doopy-doopy-doo. Should hopefully make this prettier. There we go. That was just me changing this into a div class that I've pre-set up to have better formatting. I've already made the profile sausages because I chose it because it was a funny word. So if I try this, this should throw an error. There we go, because I've already made the profile, therefore I cannot access it already. So let's make a new one instead. Let's call it spell1. I've also got a password and confirm password when putting the doing your initial setup, because that means that people have to put the password in twice. If they put a typo in the first time they type it in, they'll find out, and therefore they don't have to get a profile that they can never access again because they can't remember where the typo was. So hopefully I've not put a typo in. There we go. And as you can see, it just greets you. Profile, sadly, it's a bit blank. There's a bit of nothing going on, so I might put something in here, but I'm going to see how it goes. However, you've got home, which normally will just return you to the index menu, unless, of course, you're already logged in, then it returns you to your profile. You've got create a new spell, which allows you to design and create a spell of entirely your own invention. You can view your own created spells. You can click on the spells list, which I've scraped this from a D&D 5th Ed API, which will list all of the spells in alphabetical order. There's a lot of them. And then should you wish, you can click the button on the right to give you the full details of that spell, which is rather nice. I thought that worked out quite well. I originally had it so you click it and it would take you to a link to a separate page. Then I realized there was utterly no need for that because I could get a collapsible button, which just allows you to do that, and it saves you having to jump around more pages than necessary. So as you can see, a lot of spells. So these are all the spells from the free access D&D 5th Ed API. Spellbooks, currently it is Baron, which is fully understandable. So let's make a new spellbook. Let's make us a druid. This will now allow me to select the class, and I will get a pre-populated list on the next page, depending on what class I pick now, of what spells I can access, because certain spells can only be cast by certain classes. So for instance, I click Druid now, I'll now only have access to the Druid spells. Here we go. So these can only be taken by Druids. I shall name this Druid Default. Let's select some spells, and this has the same collapsible buttons. Say if you want to check what a spell does before you select it, boom, you can have a look. There it is. Isn't that lovely? So let's select just a couple of random spells. And let's just, there we go. And let's select spells. Here we go. I'm now onto my, this is my spellbook page basically. So it's hence why it said welcome to Druid Default, that being the name of the spellbook. Click on any spell names to see their full details. That should probably change to spell details. But there we go. They can basically click them open to have a look and click off them again to reduce them. This basically means that should someone be running a spellcaster, instead of having to faff about with many, many pages, they can just go, oh, that's my spellbook. Let's have a look what I can cast. Boom, that's what it does. Brilliant. It also, yeah, the details whether or not it can be casted at a higher level. For instance, a lot of these have no bonus at a high level. Let's see if I can find what it does. Yeah, there we go. For instance, at higher levels, it does more damage. Woo. Let's go back to spellbooks. Now, when we go back to spellbooks now, you can actually see there is our spellbook. So let us go back. Let's view spells. Takes us back to the spellbook. Let's edit the spellbook. Now, this is pre-populated with the name. These have been pre-selected as these spells you automatically have already selected. So let's change them up a bit. Let's get rid of that one. Change that one to that. As you can see, I'm just picking at random. However, now, once I've changed it, boom, it's a different spell list because I've now edited it. Should I go back to spellbooks? I can now do delete spellbook, and I've already put a proviso on this where if I click this, a warning will pop up provided by the browser to say, are you sure you want to do this? There we go. I sure want to delete this item. You can click OK and it will delete it, or you can click cancel and it won't. So let's not get rid of it quite yet. Let's create a spell just to see how that goes. Oops, didn't click it. Let's call it Whiplash. Let's make it a level 4 spell, and these are all drop-down menus that I've pre-populated. There's lots of different spell names. Let's make it transmutation. Spell classes. Let's make it available to a druid. And these could be entirely or not selected in any way, shape, or form. Let's make the spell range 10 foot because it's going to be quite close. It's going to have verbal, semantic. It's not going to have a material component. So I just need to put none in here. Won't be a ritual, won't be a concentration. It's going to be 1 round. Casting time is going to be a reaction. The spell description is going to be react to being hit by whip that dart. Oops. This 1d6 acid damage. There we go. Let's create a new spell. There we go. And here is our spell called Whiplash. It's level 4. Click on that. It will drop you the details. It's pretty crap for a level 4 spell for 1d6 damage, but then again, I'll slap it together. The edit button will allow me to go in, and again, everything is pre-populated. Click edit spell again. Delete spell will also pop up the same pop-up as before. Now, as well, if I go into Spellbook, go to edit Spellbook. That's something I need to add. When I do a new Spellbook, currently, and I select Druid, now you'll see 2 separate tables. One is your user selected spells, as in our pre-made user ones, and this only pops up because I made it a Druid spell. If I'd have made it a Paladin spell, for instance, and not a Druid spell, it wouldn't have popped up because I've already pre-populated this as a Druid book. But can't be bothered to make that at the moment. Yeah, so as you can see, it's 95% working. There's just a couple of little tweaks I need to do. For instance, when it comes to editing a spell book, I need to allow your user made spells to pop up in that as well, which, you know what, I'll probably do that now. Let's have a very quick look. To just quickly look at this. So what I should be able to do is hopefully just copy and paste a section pretty much directly from my select spells page. So if I pop that there, and then if I go into, you can't see what I'm doing right now because you're only looking at my page. I can see what I'm doing because I'm behind the scenes. I'm going into my Spellbook controller. Let's see, Spellbook ID edit. There we go. Let's add user spells. User use spells. That should complete it. Let me just double check my original edit. Yes, so hopefully this should now cause that to just load on my spellbook. So let me go back to, so just double check this is a Druid spell. Yes, this is a Druid spell. Now, if we go into spellbooks, just double check I actually saved that. Yes, I did. And let's do edit spellbook. Hopefully there should be two pre-populated. Nope, there we go. I've broken it. Why have I broken it? That's because I think I've put the wrong proviso in. Let me have a quick gander. I always find it's good when something breaks a little bit because then you can actually show yourself fixing it. Let me just double check my spellbook controller. Doopy doopy doo, doopy doo, doopy doopy doo doo. Yep, that's why I put the wrong thing in. It shouldn't have been user spells, it should have been new spells. So let me just change that. That should now function. There we go. So now it's pre-populated. You've got user-made spells, you've got the official spells. You can add this to the others as previous. So, yep. So that is basically going to be my app. And as you can see, you can then click log out. It'll take you back to the menu. When I'm in this, I should be able to now go sausages. And then if I put in the password for sausages and log in, there we go. I can also view sausages create spells, and you will notice that sausages only has sausage. It does not have whiplash. I cannot access whiplash from here, but I can play with my own spell books. So he's got exactly the same classic spell list, but each individual has their own individual created spells and spell books. So one can't access the others. Anyway, that is my app. I am going to do my best to make it a bit prettier as things go on. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed my little ramble. Yeah, good luck and see you soon.